Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Again, we're here for some Canadian juice and how we're gonna survive our immigrant life in Canada. So if you want to learn more about our topic today, just watch, and if you feel like subscribing to learn more, subscribe and make sure to read the description box below. So a bit of a background about myself. I work for a staffing and consulting firm, and recently I did embrace an additional task in my role as a business consultant, and it is the task and the responsibility of recruitment. Finding work has always been challenging, especially if you've come from a different country. My job for today is to guide you through your resume writing and how a newcomer could provide an edge to their own resume and give you the real tea of what it takes for us to consider an internationally trained professional like you and me, of course, and find you as a credible candidate for the role that we're trying to fill. Without further ado, let me give you the maybe five key components of writing a Canadian resume. Alright, so to start, first things first, you're gonna see me on a little screen and here's a sample resume. Let's start with the first component. First things first is your personal information. For the personal information, you would be able to see your name, of course, or the candidate's name, contact information, which is their email address and their contact number, which is their mobile or their home phone, preferably mobile, just so that you could answer any particular call and wherever you are actually, and they could leave a voicemail. Next would be the address, of course. It can be your full address or just your city and province. Whatever it is, they don't care. They would ask you, or us recruiters would ask you down the line what it is that we need from you anyways. So those three things are very important. That's gonna be your email, your contact number, and your address. One last thing, or one last bit about the personal information component. Put your LinkedIn profile, because, drumroll, recruiters are huge stalkers. Hiring managers are huge stalkers. So if you're telling me that I have to look for you on LinkedIn, then fine, I will, but having your LinkedIn profile handy when you send over your resume via PDF or via Microsoft Word would definitely make our lives easier. And that means that your LinkedIn is up to date and you're okay to share it with the whole world. So I will share my LinkedIn profile here as well. I have it down in the description box below. Again, if you want to connect with me and ask more career questions, feel free to message me on LinkedIn. But yes, why is LinkedIn important? Canadians are one of the largest users of LinkedIn. Given the not so huge population of Canada, it's surprising to me when I learned about this during my first year back in 2019 that Canadians are actually LinkedIn's largest customer base, and they are using this media platform more than America. So given the smaller workforce or working population, that's quite a surprising number. Okay, second key component that I want to share with you is the professional summary, whatever you call it, career overview, professional summary, career summary, or whatnot. When you look at my resume, you would be able to see that my professional summary goes hand in hand with my skills, which I feel like is the third component that I would want to share with you today. in terms of formatting. So my professional summary and my skills are just between or parallel to each other in my format, just because recruiters have mastered the skill of skimming. We are good and very, very good at keyword searching. We are reviewing multiple resumes in a day, and we really do enjoy it, but we do need to work smart and make sure that we can go through as much candidate profiles we can in a day, right? So we do have the skill of skimming through words that we need. That's the reason behind positioning your professional summary and your skills at the beginning of your resume, just because that gives us a good bird's point of view as to what we're looking for and what would entice us to read more in terms of your work experience. Okay, so for the professional summary, limit it to who you are, what you do, and what you're looking for. And then when it comes to the skills, which is our third component for today, critical thinker, problem solver, team player, organized worker, analytical thinker, all of those lovely, lovely, lovely adjectives that you could think of about yourself does not matter. Please just omit that and save the space for something more important. We can't measure that. We can't measure that you're a critical thinker or you're a problem solver or you're an analytical thinker. We can't. And that's why you should just remove it. Remove it. Do not even try putting it. Save it for something else. Okay? So what am I saying here? Olivia, what are you trying to say? Isn't that something that we have to put? No. The most important thing that you could put there or replace there are hard skills or technical skills that you have acquired throughout your schooling or throughout your work experience. For example, in legal, you would want to say corporate governance, real estate law, corporate law, business law, mergers and acquisitions. You know, just specific skill sets that you've really experienced in your career or during your education. This allows us to get a good grasp of your work experience and then partner that with some of your proficiencies. May it be your language level proficiency. As you can see, I've included my IELTS results or my IELTS average in my resume just because I'm a foreign national and I want them to understand that this is my proficiency level. Also, you could put your software skills, the types of software that you've used in whatever industry that you have worked in. Say you're in information technology, you use multiple types of software, and just make sure that you input that and include that in your resume at the beginning in the skills part of your resume. So for myself, I've placed Microsoft programs. Definitely, I'm addicted to Excel. You could put Adobe, you could put mine, I placed SAP or SAP, that's what we call it in the Philippines. I've placed Salesforce because I am adept in Salesforce. I have also included Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Ring Central, anything that we're using right now in this digital workforce or in this digital workspace that we're living in is helpful for recruiters to understand what you know and what you can do. All right, fourth component. This could be interchangeable. It would be your work experience or your educational experience. This is a common question that I receive, especially when I get to talk to internationally trained professionals. They always ask me, Olivia, what should come first? My educational experience or my work experience? So this really depends on where you are in life, right? So for international students, usually they come here fresh from their home countries. Say they've graduated from a bachelor's degree and they want to pursue further studies here, and they don't have any Canadian work background as of yet. I, for myself, placed my education first because I want the recruiters to see that I may not be a local here in Canada. However, I did study from a Canadian institution. I have also placed my GPA just so that, again, they would be able to see and assess how I did back in school and how I did in that particular program that connects to the role that I'm applying for. However, if you're a permanent resident, we already know that before you got here, 9 out of 10 times you have already a previous career in your home countries. We are starting fresh here, and that's very understandable. So with that, you should place your work experience first or your professional experience first before your educational background. This hopefully answers that question. And now we're moving on to the work experience. So for the work experience, ladies and gentlemen, as my comment in my IELTS video, please be creative. Let us take advantage of Google. Google is our friend, and in this particular moment, we could search synonyms of multiple adjectives and verbs that we could use in our resume. Wording is one of the things I want to discuss for the fourth component, which is work experience. Just because wording, it might not have a lot of weight, but you don't know who you're dealing with. So usually recruiters do check the grammar as well as the words used in assessing one's resume. So it would help if your wording has gone through a fine-tooth comb. Somebody has proofread it. Remember, English isn't our first language, so that's okay. Just make sure whatever you put there, you know what you're saying and you're familiar, and you could present that when and if you're given the opportunity for an interview. All right? So look at the words I've used. They're very common. But since my tenure in my career is less than 10 years, I try not to repeat myself every now and then. For roles that I've had in the past, I try to be very, very particular with the quotas I've met, the numbers I've increased or decreased for that matter, some of the processes that I've implemented while or during the time that I was with them, and how it affected my team or my team's performance in totality. So what I'm trying to say is that put a focus on the things that you've achieved. Having a mix of both task and responsibilities, plus of course anything that you've continuously improved on, would be a banger combination. And not even kidding. We want to see results. We all have the same tasks and responsibilities in whatever position we've held, right? And what we're trying to see here and what we're trying to aim is to provide our resumes with an edge. We're trying to land a job that is as competent as what they're gonna offer for people who have studied here. Imagine what you need to prove for them to just notice, or for us to notice your CVs or your resumes, right? Even if you don't have anything to focus on or highlight in that specific workplace, that's okay. It's just that we want to put on some kick into our profile and maximize the time that the recruiters are trying to get a good read of what we've presented there. So I hope that tip helps, and that these examples, or my own resume as an example, helps as well. All right, so we've finished our 5 key components, which is personal information, professional summary, skills, your work experience, your educational experience, and the 6th one that I felt like didn't need to be there but could be an optional component for your resume is your extracurricular activities, your volunteering, your publications and whatnot. Whatever it is that you would want to add at the foot of your resume, go ahead. Just remember that we want to keep our resumes at 2 to 3 pages max. Training, certifications, everything that you can do during your spare time while looking for a job here in Canada is definitely helpful. So if you want to put that, or if you don't have any work experience, just place that instead. While you're building your Canadian background, your Canadian exposure, or whatever it is that you want to call it, just try and be resourceful with your time while waiting for your next role. And I am very sure that if you follow the steps of writing a good resume and then backing it up with connections that you make on your LinkedIn profile, during your school, and just be a curious cat along the way, you will definitely land something in this very welcoming country. They are now slowly being open to internationally trained professionals because we really do get the job done. Immigrants get the job done. One last trick that you might find helpful when you're a fresh graduate or when you just stepped into the Canadian lands, don't shy away from staffing agencies or staffing firms. It's better to have multiple help than just working on it by yourself. Aside from networking and being curious about what you want to do with your career here, partner with a staffing firm. And that really helps a lot of immigrants like me and you to land a job here. Nothing is sure, nothing could be set in stone, but as they say, the more the merrier, the better the chances we get. Filter which industries you want to belong to in your career. Write down what you think would fit you perfectly, and then work your way through that. From the bottom of my heart, good luck. It is a very trying time right now, and just hold on to it. Don't lose hope. You will find your next job as soon as possible. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.